Let's really get into the top end of Sydney. And now, I have previously mentioned both Manly and North Bondi in being Australia's best suburbs at sort of your $3 million plus mark, but I don't want to be the same, so I'm going to give you two different ones this time. And don't get me wrong, I love Manly and North Bondi, but the suburb we're going to first announce is Rose Bay. So look, Rose Bay is one of Sydney's oldest suburbs. I think Rose Bay, from memory, is actually home to the Fairwater Estate, which is, I'm pretty sure, where that $100 million home by Mike Cannon-Brooks from Atlassian was actually bought. There's I think they own a couple. Both owners actually own a couple of them along this actual stretch. But look, Rose Bay is one of the oldest suburbs in Sydney. It's home to a lot of good schools. It's obviously near Kincoppel. It's near Mariah College. If you're Jewish, it's obviously close to Scots College, Cranbrook. Close to St Catherine's. You can't really go wrong in terms of school zones. It's in the Willara Council, so obviously your richest council in Australia. It's close to North Bondi. It's home to the golf courses. It's home to some of the most beautiful, quiet beaches in Sydney. So you're not going to go wrong there. And you can just see alone here, Rose Bay has the boat ramp. It's home to kind of the ferry stop there. You can actually go by a seaplane in Rose Bay. It's the only spot, I think, in all of the eastern suburbs where you can do it. And people live like a holiday lifestyle, and it's home to billionaires too. So never going to go wrong buying there, but you're going to need about $6.5 million, unfortunately, for people that don't know that. But definitely consider Rose Bay. Beautiful suburb. I love Rose Bay. It's such a nice area. Let's get into another one. Mossman is the other one I want to announce. And again, for those people that don't know, Mossman's about 4.5 to $5.5 million bucks, depending on where you are in the suburb. It is a very large suburb. Obviously, properties towards Bradley's Head and Balmoral Beach are going to be a lot more expensive than ones towards Neutral Bay and kind of the Spit Junction there. But Mossman, I think, is probably one of the most beautiful harbourfront suburbs in all of Sydney. An article here just comes out saying, is this Sydney's most picture-perfect waterside suburb? And for probably the harbourfront, I'd agree. Like, you could probably argue parts of Manly are nicer and maybe parts of Vaucluse are nicer. But they're obviously not as big. Mossman, particularly towards Middle Head and Bradley's Head, is beautiful. And some parts of that, I mean, on the top of Bradley's Head, you can literally see the Harbour Bridge and Opera House. So it's beautiful, and I think it's the North Shore's finest suburb in reality, particularly those pockets I'm mentioning. But you might have to get your wallets out and save for a fair while because they're not cheap. But definitely consider Mossman if you have that budget in the North Shore of Sydney.